Welcome to livinglifedyingdeath.com, the place for healthy conversations about death and dying. I'm here today with Dave Romanelli. Hi.
Hello.
I haven't met you before, and so I really appreciate you saying yes that you'd come do a video blog.
Yes, it's great to be here.
Thank you. One of the reasons I reached out to you is because I've read your blog, know a little bit about you from through the internet, your blog and your work here in Arizona, and I just felt this passion for life. So I was wondering if you could tell me, where do you think that passion comes from?
I mean, the passion is based, life for me is intense. You know, it's busy. I'm super sensitive, so kind of picking up on everything that's going on around me. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a curse. And so I have to sort of express everything that I'm feeling and thinking. And that's why maybe I think the blog is appealing to you, because it comes from a place of truth and a place of intensity.
Let's start with some of those passions. Anybody that reads your blog knows wine, chocolate, yoga, food, and we share a lot in common in those things because those are great passions to have. So why don't you pick one of those and tell us why you connect to that?
Well, as you know, I've been traveling the country now for about 4 years, and I teach these things, the workshops called Yoga and Chocolate and Yoga and Wine. And the idea is taking something traditional like yoga and fusing it with just everyday passions. Nowadays, I think that the rituals for people, the modern day rituals, are things like wine, chocolate, listening to music on your iPod, just the simple pleasures. And when we embrace those things mindfully, that it is, they're gateways to the present moment. They're the means to live in the now. So, but in particular, chocolate, I mean, just the idea that if you could take that one moment in your day, slow down, put down the cell phones and the gadgets, get off the computer, and just eat a really rich piece of chocolate, like that moment will stand out from your day, you know. Whereas the issue that I think everybody's having nowadays is that we're going through the day and we don't remember a single thing that happened. We're so busy and life is slipping through our fingertips, and it's not a good way to live. So that's my mantra: slow down and eat a piece of chocolate.
I know you've written a book. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the book?
The book is called Yeah, Dave's Guide to Live in the Moment, and the subtitle is Getting to Ecstasy Through Wine, Chocolate, and Your iPod Playlist. And it takes all these ideas communicated by Eckhart Tolle and kind of dumbs them down a little bit in a really fun, lighthearted, in some cases naughty way. The book's super irreverent, but it has a big philosophical push, and it's all about a quote by Robin Sharma that best summarizes it. He said, life is just a series of moments. If you miss the moments, you miss your life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good quote. I like it too.
Yeah, that kind of helps me segue into a portion of Living Life, Dying Death, which is, we've talked a lot about the passion and the life. I was wondering if you have any experiences of loss or grief, the death of a loved one, ideas or beliefs that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a big question. First of all, you know, what's so interesting about yoga as it relates to death is that each class ends in a pose called Shavasana. And I once had a teacher who explained that a yoga class is basically learning how to live and learning how to die. And if you were to put a normal person who had never done yoga in that corpse pose at the end of the class, it's really interesting. I think a lot of people would find it to be really boring. A lot of people would find it to be too intense to have to face themselves. A lot of people would just want to get the hell out of there and wouldn't even want anything to do with being still on a 3x6 foot spot. So I think that, you know, the yoga teaches people how to feel life fully, how to go through the hard times, how to go through the good times, and to recognize that at the end it can be a very relaxing and beautiful and deeply enriching experience. So is what I've learned and the yoga's taught me, is that death can be a beautiful thing. As far as somebody that I've lost that's close to me, I know my grandmother passed away a few years ago, and I was pretty close with her, and it was kind of strange because I knew the last time that I saw her, I started crying in the middle of our lunch without knowing that she was going to die. I kind of had that sense that she was going to die.
Is there a certain philosophy or memory of her that you'd like to share, or anything she taught you through her life and her death?
You know, I was sitting at her funeral and thinking back through, and I talk about this in my book, you just never, some of the strangest things came up that I never would have thought that I would remember. Most interestingly was when she was taking my temperature when I had the flu when I was probably 5 years old, and I was laughing so hard that I almost swallowed the thermometer. And I talk about in the book that laughter is so important because you know, laughter is such an incredible way to release stress, to release tension, and a good hard side-splitting laugh is a way to just you know, just let go.
Like you said, express.
Yeah, so I really remember more than anything like that one time she made me laugh. That was so powerful and so meaningful. And I really try to, and you know, one of my missions is to bring humor to self-help and spirituality. Sometimes it's so serious.
Are you afraid to die?
It's interesting, you know, I think like a lot of people, I think about it often. Sometimes life is hard, you know, it's a grind when you work hard and you're all the things that need to be balanced, and it's a grind, and you wonder if it's easier, you know, on the other side. But I can't say that I'm necessarily afraid of it. I'm just fascinated by it.
Seems like you're very comfortable living in the unknowing.
Well, you know, there's this great book called Born to Run, and there's these people in the book called the Tarahumara Indians, and they live in the mountains of northern Mexico, and they are the world's best long-distance runners. And they're indigenous people. They're kind of a mystery anthropologists. And one of the things that's so interesting is it talks about that the reason that they're such powerful runners is because they wake up in the morning and they don't know where they're going to get their food. There's no supermarket down the road. So they have to run after their prey. And for them, the unknown is a source of vitality. It's a source of strength. You know, wakes you up, gives you vigor. And in our culture, I think in a lot of cases, the unknown is a source of anxiety. So it's really how you come to it. And I think that's one of the things we learn through yoga. When you feel that really intense sensation, the yoga teaches you to relax and let it be fuel for the fire. In our culture, when we feel intensity kind of wears us out, it's like we have to fight. It doesn't have to be like that. People that know me, I mean, I can be a real fun-loving person, but I have a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. And all the things that I try to convey and share are from a place of just a dialogue, like a place of personal struggle that I think is very normal for people. You know, there's a quote that says, we go to far greater lengths to avoid what we fear than to do what we love. And I think that's, you know, that takes practice. Because we could always be living from a place of fear, and we can be living from a place of love. And I think every day we have to check in with what's our driver, you know?
It sounds like you're very honest with that.
Totally. I'm just not going to try to pull the wool over your eyes. I mean, I deal with a lot of these things that you're asking about are personal struggles, so.
Well, one of the things that inspires me is the strength and the beauty of the human spirit. What inspires you?
I gotta say, like I said before, there's nothing that inspires me more than laughter, like the alchemy of laughter and how your body breaks down. And it's so rare for people to have a good hard laugh that when they do, it's like instantly a switch flips and you remember all that's good in life, you know? And I think that this is a very simple and accessible pleasure, and way too many days go by without it. So I just want to say laughter. I have a mantra that I talk about in my book, that every day of your life, if you could have one funny moment, one beautiful moment, and one delicious moment, it is a way to slow down and create substance.
Dave, I just really want to tell you thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I appreciate your honesty and your willingness to share those things with us.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.